What is up, everyone? Hello, hello. Uh, my name is Akash, and with me I have Manish, and welcome to the 3 p.m. podcast. In this episode, we'll be looking at some very important PM information. Like before getting to the PM interview, how do you generate coffee chats? How do you network on LinkedIn? And how do you work and how do you break that first PM interview? And we'll be listening to a very important person who I've ever met from Cornell. She has helped me a lot, and I think she will be able to help the audience as well. Her name is Pranamika Balaji, and she's right now the assistant vice president at the mortgaging department, I think, in Citi. So, Manish, oh, can we like bring her on the show? Do you think?
Yeah, sure. Let's introduce Pranamika as well.
Sure. Welcome to the podcast, Pranamika.
Hey, hi guys.
Hello,
Let me
Pranamika.
just.
Okay, so let me start first. Okay, so I'll give you like a short introduction of Pranamika to our audience, and then I'll allow Pranamika to give like a brief introduction about like and explain detail what is her background and what she's working on right now. So Pranamika has done an MSEM from Cornell, and right now she's working as an assistant vice president, as Akash mentioned, in Citi. Previously, she has worked as like analyst and developer, and now I'd ask like Pranamika if you can talk in detail about like your background and like if you can just walk us through your journey of like becoming a product manager. Like after how was your journey from graduating from Cornell and landing this job?
Yeah, sure. To begin this journey, I think I have to go a little bit back in my undergrad. So I did my electronics and communication. And when I was an electronics and communication engineer during my college times, I used to work on a lot of research stuff. And I used to develop like new products over there. I think that was the first call towards product. But then I was doing pretty much everything in the electronics domain, pretty much in antenna. Now in all the campus interview happened, and somewhere I felt I was not prepared to do a master's, and I got a job with Citi, and I worked
Mm-hmm.
there for 3 years. Over a period of time I was a developer, and eventually I became an architect, and I knew like couple of coding languages and stuff. So even every time, be it like in a scrum call or you're trying to build a user story, my thought process has always been towards how to create a new feature or how to make this better.
Mhm.
And I tried couple of startups during that time, and I thought like, okay, things, I just felt I need to learn more about it. And the best way to have a startup, eventually I understood through my experiences, like, be a product
Mm-hmm.
manager. You take any big companies nowadays, like it's pretty much CPOs, chief product managers, are CPMs, are becoming the CEOs. So I always wanted to do that journey, become a product manager, rise to C-suite level, be an entrepreneur, and then take the entrepreneur. So my vision has always been, has been, and now also it's to become an entrepreneur. But I want to take this route. And I was applying. I got into Cornell, and in Cornell, I
Mm-hmm.
again had a startup. I was trying to build product, for an African market. It was a fintech product, and in my class also, like product management was my specialization. And during that time, I was looking on to generative AI because that was really booming and stuff. So I took up like this course on. Generative AI in fintech, because I already had a fintech background, and my startup was pretty much in fintech as well. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so during that time, when I know like with F1, you can't like register your startup or go forward with it. I need to look for jobs. Then I started searching for jobs pretty much in the fintech domain, in product management. And now that I knew like the latest technology, the generative AI, I designed a curriculum for Cornell as well in generative AI. This gave me an edge over
Mm-hmm.
others while applying, because that's like a hot skill in the market right now. And eventually I was hired as I was hired to head artificial intelligence for mortgages in North American domain in Citi. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
ever since, that's how has been my journey into the work. and I pretty much love my work because it's pakka product manager's job. Like finding out opportunities where in banking, especially in mortgage area, you can introduce generative AI, charting out the plans, how to do it, doing pitch decks, asking for funds. So right now I'm in a very happy position where I can be an entrepreneur, be a product manager, and also be like involved with the technology as well. So
Mm-hmm.
Got it, got it. So what you're saying and what I'm understanding from your introduction is like you are always the person who is like the startup person who wants to build something new in an industry and who is like continuously looking at the problem and like trying to figure out a solution out of it. And that's where you started with, and then you started working as a developer and then you transitioned to like Cornell and like there also you tried some fintech startup idea and then eventually you landed up in the role which is like your current Citi role. Okay, got it. So I mean in the similar line, so you mentioned about your responsibility, right? You make pitch deck, managed multiple stakeholders. So if you can like talk about what are like the core responsibility of you as a product manager when you work to this implementation of artificial intelligence and like the mortgage industry, what is like the core responsibility which you were specifically working towards?
right. So my core responsibility or the vision of whatever we are trying to do is modernize the banking.
Mm-hmm.
With being in banking sector with a lot of ethical concerns and stuff, it's not like an easy part to take. So as a product
Mm-hmm.
manager, my job would be to first like find opportunities where automation or where generative AI can make life better, bring out like good revenue for city. First to analyze those areas. The moment
Mm-hmm.
I know, okay, these are the areas where I can work on, my job then the next job would be to identify or list down the problems like pertaining to that particular domain, why this has to be done. So why is very very important if you're a product manager. So for doing that, I would go to the ground level, talk to the mortgage agents or in the operation teams, the actual. So it's like talking with stakeholders and actually trying to figure out, is the technology really needed. Nobody wants to do a force fit. So the second step is all about identifying the pain points and evaluating whether the technology is genuinely needed or not. The next steps comes where I have to propose a solution. Now, when you propose a
Mm-hmm.
solution, again I bring up my technical team together, leverage my generative AI knowledge, and it's a pretty much an ETL team. ETL is like extract, transform, load, batch processing. Those kind of we work with a lot of data.
Mm-hmm.
Bring in all the data analysts, all those ETL people to the table. Try to have a conversation like what are the like how to propose a solution which would be highly beneficial. Once jotting out all of these, we'll try to figure out like are there any existing city products which could
Mm-hmm.
be leveraged, or is there any third party vendors we can work to. So again there will be a set of meetings with those stakeholders, and once we know all of that, then comes like the actual part. So if you're going to do this, what is the budget? So we work on the technical budget, estimation of hours, what is the step 1 to step 2, when we will be able to create, like creating that product roadmap. So the next
Mm-hmm.
step is like creating that product roadmap, then putting it all together in a nice pitch deck, asking for so many hours. So when you talk about technical budgeting, pretty much except the license costing in IT industry, it's like the hours of technical hours of work and labor needed. So we put in all the software hardware requirement, and then we'll put up a nice pitch deck and like present it
Mm-hmm.
to the management, all those C-suite people, and get it done. So that's how it happens there.
Got
Mm-hmm.
it, got it. So like starting from like the problem identification, which is like interviewing with different stakeholders, and then prioritizing like the features which you want to develop, and like first understanding if our technology has I mean, do we have that technology already? Or it's like we have to develop new thing, and if we want to develop new technology, what would be the resources or like the efforts which we would be needing from, and then getting the budget approval. Okay, so that's what I wanted to like
So
understand.
technically, you work in upstream and not in downstream, right? Like you work till the ideation to the product launch. After that, post product launch, you look after the metrics.
Currently in my role, I'm not like looking after the metrics, or maybe because
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like
Yeah.
1 year into city, and most of my ideas are just like now starting to getting executed. So as of now, the matrix is maintained by a separate team. Like probably I don't know, maybe down the lane I would be responsible for looking into metrics and making amends to it.
Okay.
Since I'm just like to Citi now, I'm not into metrics right now.
Got it, got it. So when you were like describing like your previous experiences of like generative AI or like the coding or the analyst experience which you have, so can you like talk about like how important is it for PM to like have like understanding of coding, web development, data analyst, and like machine learning models, and how important is all those things for you to work as a PM in industry?
So it's all about identifying the personality. So my
Mm-hmm.
perspective of looking into how a product manager should be like jack of all. So it's suited with my personality to begin with. So that's why I had this dream. So I feel as a product manager, it is very, very important for you to know what's happening currently. So coding, you don't have to be an intense coder, getting into the competitive coding, write 1,000 lines of code. No, that is not needed. As long as you're smart enough to understand an algorithm, or like if you're able to go through a code, you're able to understand, I think you're fine at that level. Again, from data analysis
Mm-hmm.
perspective, you don't really have to do like all libraries and stuff, as long as like like as much as pandas, or like very basic how to do a linear time series analysis or linear regression, the very basics of it on a high level, I think you're good. So all I feel is you don't need to have like an extensive technical skill, but at the same time, in an interview, you should also be good enough to manage if a question is asked. Because when they talk about A/B testing, which is like very very important if you're a product manager, you need to know what is A/B testing. But nobody's going to ask you to code it. So that's where it's all about. There's a fine line of how much you know it. You need to know enough
Mm-hmm.
to speak about it, and enough to manage a group of people who are like technically strong. So generative AI, I try to be hands-on and get into the depths of it because it's current technology, and pretty much not even the technical developers are aware of what's there in Gen AI. So since a lot of input is needed as a product manager into that particular area, I had to put in the extra effort. Otherwise, as long as I know the high-level concepts of all those technical stuff, I think we are good.
Got it, got it. So you mentioned like you mentioned first itself, like so as a PM, you should be like jack of all trades. You should have like the overall understanding of how things work, and so that it will also help you to like communicate with developers, and like when you are also prioritizing features, that knowledge comes in handy. So you also mentioned about like so this was kind of like the previous experience, a technical or what you can say like a hard skills a PM should have. So can you also talk about like for because our audience, majority of them wants to get their first job, want to get their foot into the industry right now. So they don't have like a formal PM experience. So if you can like talk about how can they best position themselves to land their first PM role without like much formal PM experience.
Yeah, sure. So the first thing is, it's always, if you're going to be like a PM and get into like big companies, it's
Mm-hmm.
better if you can have a previous experience. I would say that. I'll tell you why. Also, as a PM, you'd be like having a lot of talking jobs with the stakeholders, and that's where like like the soft skills and stuff would get better if you're actually in a corporate domain. Now it's okay. There are people who are freshers and stuff, so what they have to do is how much of a month, 12 months or 18 months, or those months they're going to be in the college. Those are very crucial months. I know everyone is in US and like coming for the first time, chilling, partying, all that's fine. But I would say your academics is pretty much light here, at least I would say, compared to 40 credits which we do in India, it's nothing. So they should spend majority of the time being in clubs, grabbing as much opportunities as you can. So in Cornell, at least we had this praxis center, which is like a like you don't get paid for do working there, but still you get a work experience. I think that sort of work experience. I think even Purdue kind of has co-op or something, right? Or you guys don't have?
I mean, this is Hopkins.
Oh, sorry.
Uh,
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
uh,
John Hopkins. Yeah, Purdue has co-op, and if John Hopkins, if
we
anything.
have pro bono projects. Yes.
Yeah, so try to grab as many projects as you can, and working with professor helped me a lot. So at least when it came to generative AI, most professors in Cornell had this or like they had their own startup. So I think it's all about how you prepare yourself in those 18 months, grabbing like every opportunity as you can. Go into the clubs, or you three or four friends together, sit together, try to build a product, try to market it on your own, do pitch decks on your own. And then if there are any courses that's offering entrepreneurship, that would be really amazing, because I took up a course in Cornell where they taught me from the scratch how to do a pitch deck, and where we actually have to start business as a part of our end curriculum. So these 18 months are really crucial. And don't wait for somebody else to help you in building profile. Rather, you build your own product. It doesn't need to get funded, but as long as you're trying to do the market research, trying to identify the customer segments, getting what you have to do, to build up a product, all these would help. That experience itself you can present, and then you can say that, hey, I did all these to build a product and it's waiting for funding. You can always put it in your resume as a project as well. So it's all about you along with your friends doing something where you actually build a product and then figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
Got it, got it. So it's just like utilizing all the resources which we have in the campus. For example, for Johns Hopkins, we have the Johns Hopkins Product Management Club as well. So where like students participate, and we have like multiple pro bono projects where we work with various startups, and it's the same. The problem statement is related to product, and then the student get the practical work experience which they can showcase on the resume. And we also conduct like various events and hackathons we also conduct where students participate. So yeah, this is kind of
Mm-hmm.
like the one of the platform which you guys can be a part of it. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
even if nothing works, like you cannot go to a
mhm.
hackathon or anything, you build the product on your own. You just like sit with another friend, just build it on your own. But it's all the self help that matters at the end of the day.
So,
Got
Pranamika,
it.
I had a question, a follow up on that. You said you need to build products, you need to like do mock like breakdowns and stuff like that. So I did go through a website of yours, and you did talk about, you've put up blogs, you put up like your portfolio and all those like different things in your website. How much did that help you in the final like callbacks, or like how much did that actually help you get that reach to the interviewer?
Honestly, to say, right, people do it religiously, and it's like a part of the ritual which you do in the process of interview and stuff. But how I feel it as, it's like the wow factor. So honestly, it didn't help me to land in jobs. I mean, no, land into the job calling. But then during interviews, it played a huge role. So it's an interview, you get to express yourself. You'll be able to talk. That time, having all these is actually like an additional wow factor. Yeah, it did help me
Mhm.
to get any callbacks or something, I would say, but it definitely helped me in interviews.
So it's more like an icing on the cake once you get to the interview stage. So if that was not helpful, I mean that much, so like what do you think was some of the important things that actually helped you get callbacks?
I think it's all about meticulously planning and carrying out a strategy to get those callbacks. To begin with, resume preparation. At least I would suggest like you should have a solid resume, which needs to be reviewed at least like one of your senior, one of the people from another company, your own professor, your career center guide, and your friend. So minimum 5 level of reviews needed for the resume. And try, like, you need to version it up. Like I my current resume was like a 40-second version or something. So it should be like very precise. There are a lot of AI tools to kind of evaluate my resume, evaluate your
For
resume.
example.
I don't know. I think I use resume scanner. It helped
Hmm.
me a lot. Yeah, I use couple of 2 to 3 sites, and yeah, but pretty much I use resume scanner. So resume preparation does 10% of your work. The rest of the 90% is completely based on networking. So networking is the key to get a call back. So I used to follow this strategy. I used to have this odd number days and even number days during my college time. So on odd number days, I would randomly apply for jobs which are coming in LinkedIn, cold mail people randomly without even thinking who are they and all of that. But then there was a strategy behind it as well. So when you apply to company like randomly, and then you try to build up a network with those people, cold call those people, That too, how I'll do it is, I'll see like their LinkedIn profile first, and then I'll try to find out what they are like really into, what they are really interested in. Then I'll see, is there anything that like common to both of us. Let's say there's somebody in energy domain who's a product manager, and I want to reach out. Now I have no clue of energy domain, and it's just for the sake of job. So I'll just try to see like, oh, is there like any other skills they have done, or anything they have done in their undergrad, somewhere, what else is their interest, anything interesting about the posts they have put. From there I'll take it up as a key, and then I'll try to compose like telling, hey, I saw this in your post, I was pretty flabbergasted by it,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do it, I want to discuss more, and then I'll get a coffee chat. Through that I'll try to get a coffee chat, and then try to build up a contact. So these I'll do on odd number of days. During the even number of days, what I do is, so even before like like coming over here and all, I pretty much know like I need to like I generally had like friends, relatives, whoever I know. I try to make a list down like who and all I know from whichever company. So in that way I made like some 50 to 75 companies I know, and 50 to 75 people, friends of friends, relatives of relatives, or even from LinkedIn, like those people I cold texted and who connected with me. We kind of had coffee chats and had a very good rapport. So I used to make that list. From these 75 companies, I used to go and look for the job posting. I'll try to search like, oh, whether this particular job suits me or not, because I know the moment these people are going to refer me, there is more than 70% of the chance that I would get a call back. So by doing this in this odd and even number of days, I kind of maneuvered it through, getting callbacks for interviews.
Wow. That's a
Got
lot
it.
of
Yeah.
information that you shared with us. I think Manish can also agree with this. That
Yes,
yeah, you gave out a very clean roadmap to like executing how the callback procedure, like starting from building a resume to networking, which is, as you said, is the most important thing. And yeah, the odd and even thing is something I am listening for the first time. Like I should also probably try that out. Like where on the odd days you randomly apply and you have coffee chats, and on the even days you look for like actual referrals who might refer you to organizations. uh, I have like a one follow up with respect to the odd number of days where you look for coffee chats, right? How much does that actually help you? Like how much time do you put into that, and how do you find like uh, people who are ready to talk to you, and does that even like generate leads later on? Do you go from there and put them into your like even day list? Like, is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, from odd days, I try to get people who can definitely refer me and put them into event days. So, yeah, to begin with answering your question, so there will be a lot of classes like happening over the day, and then I used to do part time as well. Now I separated it in like two ways. So, random application, I used to do whatever. So, in the morning class, like you have like 8 to 12, whatever class is there, like not all of us listen to class like very meticulously and take notes. I think we have crossed that stage. We just like you just like listen to it and do, right. So when classes are happening, I am hoping no Cornell professor sees this podcast. But yeah, when classes are happening, I used to, randomly apply to LinkedIn. That's how I used to do like during the morning class times. Randomly apply, like whichever job I'm seeing, I used to apply without even giving a second thought. Now, during my afternoon class hours and during the part time, I used to, try to read. Hardly like it takes uh, more than, I think, less than 2 minutes to scan a person's profile, try to figure out what this guy is interested in. And then I used to have this standard template where I just have to change here and there words like, hey, I have this much same passion as yours in this particular domain. So like that, I used to have a template where I just have to change what I'm passionate about, and then I used to like send it to them. So in a day, during my beginning days, I targeted 100 people. Over a period of time, I started targeting 150 people. So every day I used to text around 150 people. Now, always we should remember the hit rate is 10%. So this is like a national US national statistics. when you one if you're going to send text to 150 people, pakka from 10 to 15 people you will get a reply message. So that's how it's been. So I give from those 15 people, then you can figure out like, okay, with whom I want to take this conversation more. Because from the reply you get to know. But like when you keep trying to have build that rapport with those 15 people also, from that hardly you'll land in one or two coffee chats. That's it. Again, it's a 10%. So always you
Mm-hmm.
should remember in a day, how much ever people you're texting, there's pakka 10% hit rate, you'll get a reply. From those 10%, only with 10% the people you'll be going to get this coffee chat. So per day you can get 1 to 2 people to be in a coffee chat over the weekend. So Saturdays and Sundays are just for coffee chats. So like that, so let's say odd number of days. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm doing this. So 3 days. So in a week, I can land in 6 coffee chats. So from these 6 coffee chats, you'll take like next level, next level, next level. Hardly over a period of month, you will have at least 3 people who can refer you. Out of those 3 people, at least one of them can vouch for you. With that 1% is what you're going to get job. So in a month, 1% if they can help you, as you like progress over the month, 3 months or 4 months, have at least 4 or 5 people who can vouch for you and can get a job for you, and that's how you
Mm-hmm.
ultimately land in a job.
Got it, got it. I mean, just listening at the process which you just explained and the background. I mean, what I know is like Cornell is like 9 months program, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on top of that, like 9 month hectic program, to follow this ritual of like odd even in the Saturday Sunday full packed, it's a lot of work, I'm assuming, but I can also say like that is what it takes if you
To
really
get a
want to
job.
like land some good job.
I mean, I'll be
So
very
so
honest with you. Cornell is a 9 month program, but I
Mhm.
started applying for jobs in May, which is like the fifth month. So I worked religiously in the month of yeah, May, June, July, August. By September, I landed in a job, I guess. I just put that. So
Mm.
what? That's what I felt without strategizing and putting that effort for all 9 months. Strategize, put the effort for 3 months, and you get job. When I Yeah, I think by September I had like 2 offers, and by December I had one more because I wanted a backup. So that's how
Mm.
it is always. So just work hard, even if that's what I'm telling. Like even if it's like you're working really hard for strategize, calculate, and then work hard for 2 months, you'll pakka land in a job.
Mm-hmm.
Got it, got it.
You used to like randomly text product managers in any domain, or like was it like how did you like choose the product managers that you used to like text for coffee chats? Like just random senior product managers?
Yeah, my odd days are pretty much random only, and it all I went with the gut feeling. So sometimes when I look at a profile, I know this guy will help, or this person will help. This girl will help. So I went with my gut feeling, like based on like if they are in a senior recruiter position. So I generally target recruiters, I target managers, and then I target product managers. So if they are a HR person, and if you're able to convince them, there are higher probability you will land in a job. If they are a manager, though they're not a product manager and they're managing around like 50, 60 people, then they have a voice where they can vouch for you. So I think I
Wha-
went with the gut feeling. I never searched any particular domain because we're all desperate for jobs, and at that point of time, first getting a job is the necessity. So you don't
Hmm.
have the luxury of choosing domain initially, right? So yeah.
So,
Mm.
if I may
Got it.
ask, like one small follow-up, like what kind of specialized messages did you give to each person? Like for the HR, I know HR ghosts a lot of people. I want to know why you texted the HR and what kind of message you put to the HR versus a manager and a product manager. Like did you find that commonality even with the HR, and that's how you did it?
Right. So with HR, the messages are pretty much different. So with technical people, my standard template is, "Hey, this is Pranamika. I saw your profile. I saw you have done research on this particular thing, and I really loved it. And I have done this thing in my college, and I think like it would be nice to talk to people like you and get inspired. Something like that. So that's my standard message with most of the managers. Now, when it comes to HR, I say that like, hey, this is what your company is. Your company is so good. I love the products your companies have recently done. I'm a college graduate. This is the kind of company anyone would love to land in. I just want to know more about your company. Can we connect? So that would be the kind of message I sent to HRs.
Okay. And
Got it, got it. Mm-hmm.
that's very
Okay.
interesting.
So you said like on the other days you were applying, cold applying for other jobs as well, right? So if you can tell about what was the platform which you use, was it just LinkedIn or like is there any other platform which you were using when you were like cold applying to the jobs?
Right. So the thing in general, right, like people use multiple platforms because they
Mm-hmm.
want to maximize their chances. But I always believed in a focused, disciplined approach. So I don't even have LinkedIn Premium to be honest with you.
Okay.
Mhm.
I just used LinkedIn and nothing
Mm-hmm.
more than LinkedIn. See, whatever job comes in LinkedIn, I have put filter, all these basic filters, product manager, this much years of experience. So it will give list of jobs, right? Yeah. So that's how I randomly used to apply. I never used anything like
Okay.
LinkedIn or the official websites, of course.
Got it. And that's where on LinkedIn itself you were reaching out to like 100, people every day. And I'm assuming this was you were just using the connect option with the add message, not the actual premium version of adding long message.
Exactly. Just like I was given like what 1,600 characters or something. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, within
Yeah.
that, I have to present myself in such a way that they'll definitely get me a call back. See, there are two ways, right? One set of
Mm-hmm.
people, use multiple platform, pay all these premium subscriptions, maximize their networking and do it. That's I wouldn't say that's not the right way to do, but from my experience, what I felt is have a strategy, do things focused, no need to spend extra bucks. Still, you
Mm-hmm.
follow the strategy, do it with discipline. As long as you're doing your strategy with discipline, within easily 3 to 4 months you'll land in a job. That through my experience, I
Mm.
guarantee it.
Exactly.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
uh,
So now
yeah.
that we have reached like the half of the podcast, so Akash, do you want to like take the
How?
audience question or like start the resume or like we can start talking about the interview questions as well, like
Oh,
different
yeah.
types
I
of
mean,
interview.
like I think this is a good segue right now. We can
Mm-hmm.
probably go into how Pranamika dealt with her interviews, like how she worked on that. That's a very nice aspect of her profile. So yeah, Pranamika, if Manish, if I may, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your interview process. Firstly, at Citi, and if you have any other experiences as well, you can probably talk about that as well.
Yeah, sure. So when talking about interview process, I said like I started my entire planning of searching for jobs only in the month of May. So first, until I knew I was ready, I never applied for any jobs. I started applying for jobs only in the mid of June. So 1 month I took for complete preparation and to see where I am. That's what helped as well. So I would like to share about my interview experience, but I
Hmm.
just want to give it like a
Yeah.
piece of strategy. So in terms of interview preparation, I took like 1 month time. Again, I'm a very focused person. I don't say like thousand. I don't see thousands of websites and prepare myself for interview. I'll do one thing, but that I'll try to do it perfectly. So I tried using Exponent. Exponent was like an amazing platform for like PM interviews, and I did like all the courses religiously. And then every other day, I used to have this one-on-one which the site offers. You can so randomly some executive person will come and interview you. It was like a mock interview. So for first 30 days, I just kept taking the mock interviews and all of that. So that is something I would like to tell even before talking about the interview process. So when it comes
Mm-hmm.
to I'll talk about Citi first, then about different experiences I had. So when it come to Citi, the very first round was about would be with HR, where there would be like a like basic screening of what how's your visa status and all those kind of stuff. They start with offering you a salary. So the first thing they talk about is salary in Citi, and I took up negotiation course in my college, which really helped me. So I never committed to any salary in the beginning. I just said the salary was really low, and I said like, see, I'm graduating from an Ivy League, and I deserve a salary at least 20K more than that. And of course they are not going to buy it because they don't know you. I said, okay, I know, if they say it's going to be high and all of that, I said, let me complete all rounds of interviews. If you guys are happy with whatever I'm doing, let's come back to the salary negotiation first. So that's how my first round went. Second round was a technical interview. So I was getting into a team. I know nothing about mortgage, to be really honest. And the technical stuff they are using is like ab initio, which is a like ETL tool. I know nothing about it. All I know is like Python. So during my first round alone, I try to look up like in a day or two. I try to read out like what is ab initio, what are the three important components of ab initio, and all of those kind of stuff. So this is something when the technical interview came. I know I lack in technical element because I don't know much about ab initio. If they are going to dig me, I wouldn't be able to. But as a product manager, do I really need to know the depths of it? That is not necessary. But the interviewer sometimes, like you don't know how the interview can take a direction. So this tip is something I tell to anyone who asks me how to crack an interview. You drive the interview. Never ever let the interviewer to drive it. So your answer should be in such a way that you're controlling what next question should be. So ensure you are unless the interviewer is like extremely, smart. Everyone is smart, of course, but then until they are like extremely trying to figure out what you're trying to do, you will be fine. So anyway, interviews are going to be for 30 minutes, right? So never let them grill on technical aspects. So before starting, just present yourself. Tell your introduction, prepare it like really well, who you are. Like always narrate it like a story, your journey. Cover first 5 minutes of that interview with that. It's just a 30-minute interview. And last 5 minutes will be reserved for asking questions and stuff. Now, in between, you have only 20 minutes to manage. So now they begin with telling, hey, what do you think about this job role? So the interviews in America in general, they won't ask you to code. Even if you're becoming a technical product manager, they're not going to ask you to code. It's all about your experience. How much you can relate your experience to the work you're going to do. So when it comes to ab initio, you may not know an ab initio. I don't know what's an ab initio, but do I know what is an ETL tool? Yes, I know. Is there any possibility in any point in my career have I worked with it? Somehow I figured out, yeah, I have sent files to ETL file when I was working in Citi, which I hardly did once or twice. Now I tried to create a story there telling how I have done that. I have an introduction and how I can actually make it better, like with this as well. And also try to ask them more questions. Always be lot more offering when you put forward, like what can I do for the team. So I saw this is the job role. So for these job role, there are like 10 points. I prepared myself for 10 corresponding to each 10 point. I thought what questions they could possibly ask, and then I try to prepare and I try to drive conversation in that direction, where I would be able to fulfill all the roles and responsibilities they have given. So I ensured, I don't know whether it works for everyone, but then at least it worked out for me. I spoke for 20 minutes. I let the interviewer speak for 10 minutes, which means pretty much I control the narrative over there and the questioning over there, and I was able to pass it. They got an idea. I wanted to create an impression that I know what is ab initio. I have a clarity about this role, and I know given the time I would be able to do, because in a short period of 1 year I learned AI, I did this, I did that, I had my startup. If I'm able to do everything in 1 year with rigorous curriculum, it would be like a breeze for me to, despite not having a work experience in ab initio, still I would be able to do it. So use your previous history as a banking for your future projection. So again, I had second round. That was like an intensive technical round, again with a more experienced person. I can't follow the stream strategy. It's time for me to change. I knew. So I kind of prepared a presentation. So it was like a six slider, no, I think three slider, I think, presentation. First, about who am I, my timeline, and all of it. Second was, so from the first round, I tried to gather as much as information of what is being expected out of me. Now I put a 60-day plan, like telling after coming to Citi in 60 days, I would be able to deliver all these. And how do I know all of this? From the previous interview. I try to, so you'll be given like those 5 minutes of questions. I try to find out what they have planned for me. Then I put out a 90-day plan. And then I put out what is my vision. So in this way, I was able to present the presentation for 20 minutes, and then interviewer was like, "Oh, I don't have any questions to ask you because whatever I asked, you already articulated it well." So that's how I cruised it through the second round. And my final round was behavioral. And, like taking mock interview every other day for like 30 days kind of made me like a pro in behavioral. And I was able to finish it off like very easily. And again, when it came back to HR, honestly, from what they suggested, they gave me 40K more than whatever they suggested in the beginning. So it's all about proving your worth and getting the salary you want.
Got it, got it. I mean, yes, that's like a rigorous process, and it just not end after your interview call. There is like another path which you have to take. So, like, taking a step back, so you said when you started applying actively in like June and all. So, we as an international student always have this question upon like whenever we are asked about like do we need a sponsorship, so what did you put in like if was it like a yes or like was it a no when you started applying like rigorously?
It was always a yes.
Okay.
Because I feel like if you're called into the interview, it's up to you to prove why you deserve it. So never
Mm-hmm.
compromise on anything. So you know your value, you know your true value. The fact that you're not compromising on H1. If I want H1B, yes, I want H1 because I said it during my interview to whichever interview I read, be it Amazon interview or whatsoever. I got an offer from Amazon as well. So wherever it is, I would always say this is what I want. The moment you're confident about what you want and you prove your worth it, people cannot deny it.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So it's I
That's
just
little
asked
risky, right?
because yeah, I just asked it because like there might be a situation where the company just rejects you on the basis of we marked as no. So I've heard like many people also do it in a way, okay, they initially marked as no and they just go through the interview process. Even if they don't end up getting that role, they get an experiences of interviewing that company, which will eventually help them. And if they are able to change the decision, if the company is able to change the decision during the interview, as you said, we are able to prove our worth and they want to like change their decision, then marking as yes would might have not helped them initially. Yes.
That's one way of looking at it, but I don't know. I
Hmm.
always wanted to be very straight on what I
Very clear.
because yeah, because I know what could be the worst case. So I
Hmm.
don't know. There's something my mom says, and that's how I prepared. See, what could be the worst case if I don't get a job? Probably I'll work in NGO or something like where or like some company which
Hmm.
sponsor. Somehow you'll end up in something. Your college will have some department where you can get a job. Something you'll be able to do even if the worst case, even then that's and if nothing is happening for quite a good amount of time for your OPT time is drained and still it's not happening. Worst case, you can still go back to India. You're doing your masters from one of the prestigious institutions. The job market in India is great. If in US you can finish off your education loan is 2 years. If you're in India, you're going to finish off the same educational loan but in 10 years, right? So I always thought of the worst case. So I never compromised on whatever I wanted. So yeah.
Hmm.
Right.
Got it. Yeah, and it makes sense as well.
Like, I had a question like regarding your job offer and negotiation. Like, because when you were negotiating the salary with Citi, did you already have a job offer in hand, or was this like your first call back? Because
Yeah, I
for
had
us,
couple of
negotiating, they say many people tell. Okay,
yeah, I had couple of
okay,
offers,
then it makes sense to negotiate.
but
Yeah.
it was like
Hmm.
very less, like some 60, 70K, you know. Like
Hmm.
you'll easily get on all those startup kind of stuff, right? So I had a couple of
Okay,
offers. Yeah. So
and
when
they were
I
like
was
sponsoring and stuff.
negotiating with the way the interview were going on, like the way the every round was happening, somewhere deep down I was pretty optimistic. Okay, these guys are going to pay me.
Okay. So as I can see, like you already have like backup offers. So I think the message to the audience is like have a backup offer, guys, before like negotiating. But how was your Amazon process? And I don't see where you used the case interview prep that you did from Exponent. You didn't mention where you exactly used it because behavioral is like totally different. But we used to do estimation. Like I think that's what Exponent is all about, right? product case, exponents. Like, did you actually use it somewhere?
Okay, so if you are attending an interview in Amazon and stuff, especially for product manager, you get kind of questions, product designing question, favorite product designing question, and all those kind of stuff. Even when I was in Citi, right? So what is a case interview? Whatever they talk about an exponent. So pretty much it is about like a diagnosis question, like why the Google click rate has gone down, why this particular thing is not working, or it would be like designing a product strategy. If you want to introduce a product, what will you do? And tell me about your favorite product. So these are the general kind of case interviews that's there in Exponent. So in City, even before they ask, I said right in my before the behavioral run I did a presentation there. I said like, hey, in mortgage I see this is a scope, and then I tried to show them like, oh, in my 60-90 day plan I tried to show them like, oh, this is the product I can create. If I'm creating this product, this is how I'm going to create it. So they didn't ask, but then I put myself out there. In fact, like one of my ex bosses called it like a very brash way of attending an interview, just telling them like, this is all I know before even letting them speak. But it just worked for me. And yeah, in Amazon they'll ask questions about the diagnosis plan and stuff. Yeah, they'll ask you.
Okay, so it does help in the long run,
It
like
does.
doing this exponent.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Interesting. So, Manish, do you want to like do a little bit of like resume reviews like before we come to like the last part of our segment? Like, I think we can spend like 10 minutes on that. We have a couple of resumes, and we want like your personal opinions on where we can change what in the resume. So I assume you have given a little bit of advice to some students on this. Yeah, right. Okay, cool. Let me just present a few resumes if you don't mind. Uh, let's see. Okay, I think this is very similar to what you did. So you might be interested. It's instead of City, it's HDFC.
Can you go up a little bit? Just can you go up?
Oh, up. I mean, I have just like removed the personal details.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was looking for. If the personal
Mhm.
details, their name, and all of it.
Okay. Those like I had to like remove for like
Yeah.
anonymizing the.
Okay. So the next thing is what is something striking. So I'm just telling what just by scanning. The first thing that's really important is if you already had a work experience, put the work experience first, and education comes in the bottom part.
Mhm.
I mean, different resume templates work for different people. If you're a fresher right out of your undergrad, you just have like internship experiences, then it makes sense to like highlight the education and show off like you're a very good academically sound person, or talk about your coursework and stuff. But the moment you have some work experience, then it's better to put work experience first. So
Mhm.
yeah, I would suggest that. And
Hmm.
yeah, coursework should be based on like which job you're trying to apply for. If it's a project management job, I would skip like other details I have taken in my class, just 3 or 4 courses. If it's a
Okay.
product, so based on your wherever you're applying, it's important. And
So, did you put your coursework for your bachelor's degree as well?
yeah, yeah, I did, I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
But
and I'm assuming in your resume you just added the work experience part on the top and the education would be the last section of the resume.
exactly, right.
Okay.
Uh, I think depends on the companies I used to put my GPA. So if it is a traditional company, you go for any. If you're applying for banking industry, like especially Citi, Fidelity, Bank of America, JP Morgan, it's better to put your GPA, because the people over there. I mean, this is just like the psychological analysis I did and which worked out.
Mhm.
People over there are pretty middle aged. Like they have kids of our age or like growing up age and all of that. you know. So it's better to put
Mhm.
GPA to show that, oh, this is a smart person. No, that's how they look at you. If you're going to apply for FANG companies, all this fancy Google or any new startup like Remitly and all of those companies, they don't care about GPA, because the people who are hiring there would be pretty much of our generation or a couple of generations more, and they
Hmm.
don't care about marks. But then if it's a traditional American company, it's better to put your GPA,
I
to
totally agree with that because, like, in one of
Mhm.
my interviews, they did ask for my GPA, and I was surprised. I was like, "Oh my god!" But yeah,
yeah,
it is
that's
a traditional
completely a
company.
psychological thing now. Like somebody is at the age of 45. Now they have kids who are in schools and colleges. So they're like concerned
Hmm.
about the marks, GPA, grades. So that's what it reflects in the resume as well. It's like one small psychological tip I figured out it worked.
All right, that makes sense. So do you agree with this kind of formatting for like the work experience,
So
and
yeah,
or do you have
formatting
something?
is good. Like try to put everything max in 3 points.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
yeah,
Even if you have like 3 years of experience.
yeah, it's good. Like put three, even 4 points is good, but like, see, you should never give a impression that it has so much of verbiage.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
it's just like, and then so I have this thought thing of like, bolding every numbers or quantifiable stuff I put in. So if it's like,
Hmm.
it says like at an average of 650,000 daily transactions with 92% success rate resulting in an annual business revenue, just highlight it, make it bold. uh,
Hmm.
because as a interviewer, I don't want to read, manage the credit card integration. I don't want to know. I just want to know you're capable of doing whatever it is from 650,000, right? Just
Hmm.
from there till the revenue you generated, I would highlight if I were you.
Okay.
And
Like the entire sentence, you mean, from like portion of the sentence, or just
here
like
and there,
certain words?
yeah, it can be, yeah, here and there, pretty much like daily transaction with 92% success rate, annual revenue of 4,860, so like that here and there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paraphrases. Okay.
So that, yeah, it would be better if it could be done for like any bullet points that's over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I'm writing the resume, I wouldn't put the collaborated with cross-functional team to execute complaints, mandate changes with Visa, Mastercard. No, I wouldn't put that. Somewhere in these 3 points only, I'll try to say
Okay.
that I have this cross-functional skill and all of that.
Okay.
Um, yeah, so there are
So.
something called as hype words. I think resume scanner is like really good. It gives you a mark. If you're able
Okay.
to get more than 90 in resume scanner, they correct you. They tell you, oh, these are hype words. So the moment people see it, psychologically they think you're a bluffing person. You
Mm.
exaggerate stuff. So right
Mm.
from there, so it tells you exactly like which word you can use, which should be an action word, and all of this stuff. If you're getting a score of 90 and above in resume scanner, it means your resume is really good.
Okay. That makes sense. Uh, Also, we have academic projects and skills.
Yeah, I
These.
yeah. So skills should come. So work experience, skills, education or education skills, I think, and then finally projects. You don't have to mention it as academic project. No one cares whether it's an academic project or any project. Just put it as projects.
Hmm.
And streamlining, patience, belonging, handling, and surgical units. Okay, this is good.
Why is it
Again,
good?
highlight the quantifiable part.
You mean where's the quantifiable? You mean this?
No,
Because
67% reduction in losses, saving approximately 78,000
okay,
annually.
okay,
Yeah, the work is good, but then it has to be said, right?
okay.
Yeah, see, this is really good because this particular person whoever has written it has said like what he has done, which technology he has used, and how he collaborated. And again, he also gave quantitative result of what was it, right? So instead of putting it in 3 sentence, if this particular person can put it in just 2 sentence or reduce the verbiage and just highlight the key part, it would be good. No need of so much of verbiage in your uh, thing.
Hmm.
I guess all
I
you need to
got
tell
it.
is what you did, which technology you used, what results it produced, and any one of the skill you should somehow put like be it collaboration or being with stakeholders or any one of your soft skill. Just put it like use it as a part of action word. So in
Hmm.
that way, in one or two sentences, you'll be able to in a compact manner, you'll be able to tell everything to them.
Hmm.
Yeah, and
Okay.
skills should vary based on which company and which position you're applying, whether you want to put product skills, technical skills, managerial skills, and all of those stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not managerial skills, it would be better as soft skills or something like that, or you don't have to even put it like agile. You can say project management skill, also projects management skill, something you can put. Managerial skill looks like too
Hmm.
cliche, I guess. So, yeah.
Okay. So let me quickly switch to another one. If we have time. Oops. Yeah, here it is. I think this is a little bit different. You can just like skim through it if you want.
Yeah. First, like GPA, if you're putting it in 4, convert your undergrad GPA also and put it out of 4.
Okay.
Yeah, like don't try to have like different units and all those stuff. And you don't like really have to put GPA like /4. The moment you put 3.75, everyone knows it's for 4. So you
Hmm.
don't have to do all of that. Coursework, yeah, better coursework
I
would
think
be
this
great.
is more of a fresher resume.
Yeah, so yeah, coursework still needs to be there, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, academic project can come below. uh, Internships can go up, because like okay, so here it said like design, adapted, proposed, demonstrated, right? This is a nice format of putting, but then what is the value you're creating as a web designer? I'm looking in work experience section, I'll come back to
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah.
project. Yeah. Mm, so because like like it would be better if he puts his internship experiences after his educational experiences and then talk about project, but for different people it varies. See,
Hmm.
here you read, be it the AI, whatever the person has done, whatever it is, what is the value he's creating, what is the
Hmm.
quantifiable value, so it is missing.
Hmm.
So I think it's a major miss over here. When you say artificial intelligence, what did you do in artificial intelligence? Like web
Hmm.
designer. Web designer is a job. So it says like you have been a web designer. When you say artificial intelligence, what were you in artificial intelligence? Were you a product manager in it, or were you a developer in it? Because of course he has mentioned here like played a pivotal role in developing advanced prediction models,
Hmm.
and all of this stuff. But then looking at the heading, I don't even know. So it's better if he or she, or whoever it is, can put like what kind of role they have played in the area. And yeah, and there is, if I go through this resume, I'm not trying to be harsh here, sorry, but then I don't see a value they have created in during their internship time. I know they know these concepts, but the person knowing linear regression and random forest models can put it up in the coursework itself. The moment you put data analytics, the interviewer is going to know, you would obviously know these. So you
Hmm.
don't really have to put it here, but then you need to know the value created. So this person
Yeah.
has what he has done, but there's no quantification, so which means that I did some work but no value was created. Why would somebody
Hmm.
hire someone who hasn't created any value? So yeah, that is a major missing here. And going back up, up, can you please go up, academic projects. Okay, so the moment you talk about collaborating and doing all of this stuff, it all automatically demonstrates that you have a strong analytical approach and attention of detail. You don't need to explicitly put, demonstrating a strong analytical approach and attention in detail. No, those are all not needed. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, and no need to highlight for action words. Action words needn't be highlighted at all. What needed to be highlighted is the quantified work what you have done. Uh, Clone of Facebook, utilize. Yeah, so yeah, can you please scroll down? I just got an idea of academic project. And then skills. Not every company needs languages. Like, since we are searching jobs in America, unless otherwise it's a linguistic company, you don't need to. It's good that Telugu, Oriya, Hindi, and all of that. but you don't really have to put it in your resume. Maybe if it's a very traditional American company, they might ask. In Citibank, they ask me what are the languages I can speak and I know and all of that. But
Mhm.
in general, if you're applying for any startups or FANG companies which does not deal with linguistics, this is not needed. What is ICT? I don't know what is ICT. Like you can't.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so it is mandatory that in any resume you're not putting any abbreviated word. Go full. So at least like for the first time put it as product manager, then and put bracket PM, then everywhere else you can put PM. But in resume always remember, don't just give the abbreviated form like the very first time itself. And then certifications they have given, which is good. You try to compress, which is, but then also I'll be very honest. If I given like the previous resume and this resume, as an interviewer, there's a high chances I would choose the previous resume, whatever you guys have shown. This one needs a lot of work, especially on letting the people know what value has been created. So, how is it okay if I be like really honest how I felt about it?
Yeah. That's okay. It's your
Yeah.
personal opinions. No
Yeah, it's
problem.
just my personal opinion, not hurt, but I felt it lacks depth.
Hmm.
It feels like the person hasn't done much, but then try to show off by putting all these stuff. So to add
Mhm.
that depth, you need to quantify thing and quantify what value you have created. The interviewers are looking for the value they have created. They are not looking the moment they know this is the value they have created, they can comprehend your skill and rest of the things.
Mhm.
So value creation is more important, and that's the main thing, and that's what is lacking in this resume. So work on the quantitative stuff, and no need to
All right.
highlight action words and acted. No, just try to bring up with some other word, and yeah, this needs a
All
lot
right.
of work.
Okay.
Okay.
That was a lot of information, Manish. we should
Yes.
we can probably
Sorry if
take
I'm like
Yeah.
overburdening you guys with information.
no. Every
But
single
that
point makes sense.
definitely were very good feedback for both the resumes, and they can definitely implement the feedbacks
Yeah.
and get it uplifted.
Yeah,
I
the
think the
first one is
viewers.
really good. They're like almost there. Once if they just put their resume and resume scanner, make changes here,
Mm-hmm.
there, paka, they'll be able to grab interviewers' attention.
Agreed.
Got it. Now, I think now that we are running out of time as well, and that's the time we have to end this very interesting conversation. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would like to like thank Pranamika and thank all the viewers for tuning in and like taking a time out on Saturday, and Pranamika, you sharing like the precious knowledge and like the feedback which you gave to our audiences were pretty much accurate, and it will definitely add value to the time which they have spent with us. So yeah, thank you Pranamika, and thank you all for joining us on this Saturday, and we are look out for the next week podcast, same time. And yeah, thank you all.
Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Yeah, bye
Thank you so
bye.
much. Bye bye.